So we stay in Berlin, Germany for Bash in Berlin. Our walkers are Gunther, Randy Orton, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Ripley and Priest, Useless Liv Morgan, and Dominic. And Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes start the evening with their Undisputed Championship match. And they started to tease their friendship crumbling early because they're having a match together. Again, I think Cody was trying to sow the seeds of discord from my point of view. It's like Owens would do something good, and Cody would be like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you just let me beat you?" Yeah, then they each had their match. Rhodes hit all of his highlights. So did Owens. He did his little top rope suplex thing. Rhodes hit his Cody cutter. And then all of a sudden, Cody's knee started bugging him. And Owens tells the ref to check on him. Owens goes to check on Rhodes himself. And Cody just starts punching the concerned Owens. And then Owens understandably just kicks Cody in the knee. Can you blame him? Then Owens goes for an apron powerbomb, but thinks twice about it because, he doesn't want to go crazy. Just kick him in the knee a little bit. Cody goes for his 3 crossroads. Owen blocks the third one, hits a stunner. Then he goes for a swanton. Cody gets his knees up. Then he hits a single crossroads 1, 2, 3. So why did he need to go for 3 earlier if just one will do it?
I don't know.
Well, then Owens and Rhodes hugged after the match. I wonder if that would be the case if Rhodes would have lost.
I'm sure it would have. I did like the match, though. They're telling a beautiful story. Kevin Owens, he couldn't pull the trigger on hitting that pop-up powerbomb. So thus he has no killer instinct. So they're selling the moment that he's going to use that pop-up powerbomb. I'm not saying it's going to be on Cody. I'm just saying we're building
Eventually
that.
he's going to hit a pop-up powerbomb. If they're smart enough to think ahead that far.
Yeah, he's going to hit a pop-up powerbomb, and I guess it would be for winning the Intercontinental title. So it'd be the only other title. And I said, Triple H is such a masterful storyteller to tell a story about Kevin Owens not wanting to use that move.
If that's the case, I think you're giving Triple H too much credit.
I'm not, and I'll tell you why. AEW literally just told that story with with Will Ospreay. So I took it as Triple H flat out copying.
All right. That I buy. But yeah, it was a good match. Really surprised to see the Undisputed Championship be the curtain jerker. I know because of the circumstances with Gunther, it wasn't going to be the main event, but the top prize in the company is first.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people praising Cody for that. Oh, he didn't let his ego get in the way, or, he didn't pull hey, this is the bigger title, so we're last. He's like letting everybody get their shit in.
Okay. Well, the agenda beat the Unholy Union. Why the fuck would you give Unholy Union the belts in the first place? Because they didn't do shit with them.
No one really does. I picked the Unholy Union in this.
You did.
And I said it at the time. It's just, I don't want Jade and Bianca with the titles again.
Yeah.
It's just, they're so not believable that they're going to lose. So what's the point? They don't really have a match. Like,
they don't have opponents.
Well, you got these two, they look like superheroes, and then everybody else that they're going to face is not.
Well, you got one that looks like a superhero. The other one looks like a thing of goo.
Okay. You're not serious. Let's go.
Drew. I do agree with you that it's hard to see who's going to beat them. Was it going to be the Pure Garbage Collective?
Yeah, there's just no one believable.
Plus, they have the agenda shield.
Yeah.
We got Drew McIntyre versus CM Punk. Strap match. They go over the rules of the match before the introductions.
You have to touch all 4 corners without being interrupted. So it's just like an old school type instead of it just being a strap match and, pinfall or submission.
Yeah, just a regular match, but they're strapped together.
Yeah. And then one new addition that they had for whatever reason is each corner had like a light. There's a red and a green light on each side. So when CM Punk would touch a corner, it would be a green light so that you can see how many corners he's touched. And McIntyre had a red light so you can see how many corners he's touched. So it's just their way of telling the audience how far they are.
Yeah, because they're stupid and they need lights.
Well, this shows us our age. I believe this is the first kind of strap match in that form that these younger people have seen.
Still, tell me that today's audience can't count to 4?
I guess it's I don't know. I didn't hate it, I would say. It was just a way to keep up with, especially like at the end of this match, you really needed it.
Well, McIntyre attacks Punk during his entrance, and he throws Punk on the announce table, starts whipping him with the strap, all before the match officially starts. They finally get strapped together, and the match starts. Doesn't matter, though, because McIntyre is just beating Punk's ass still. Punk hits a GTS out of nowhere. Instead of going for the win, he starts whipping McIntyre with the strap. McIntyre tries to future shock Punk through the announce table. Punk blocks it, whoops McIntyre again with the fucking strap. Then he goes and gets a table, even though they started on the goddamn announce table in the first place. McIntyre stopped Punk, slid the table back under the ring. He grabs a chair, hits Punk in the gut with it, then scoop slams him on it. Punk is bleeding. McIntyre sets up the chair in the corner like RVD used to. Punk does his Shining Wizard Bulldog. Then he grabs the table again. McIntyre hits Punk with a Claymore. And then he goes for the 4 corners. Punk recovers. Before McIntyre can get to the 4th one, he flees out of the ring, pulls McIntyre into the corner where the chair is. So Punk's going for the 4 corners. McIntyre stops him. Punk goes for his Shining Wizard Bulldog thing. McIntyre blocks the Bulldog by picking Punk up. Then he just dumps Punk onto the table that he set up. So they were both foiled by their own traps. And then they do a contrived thing where both of the lights were on in the 3 corners, and thankfully that didn't lead to the finish. Like McIntyre hit the corner, and then Punk would hit the corner just right after him.
Yeah, it was a tease to one of those old school finishes. I actually remember it first from like Sting versus Vader. Vader was carrying Sting around, and Sting was touching the corners behind him.
So Punk gets McIntyre in a sharpshooter. McIntyre taps out, but does dick because this is a strap match. McIntyre ends up grabbing Punk's bracelet that was presumably wrapped around McIntyre's cock because he pulled it out of his pants. Then he puts it on, hits a Claymore. Punk then gets the 4 corners after 4 GTSs and getting a spooge-covered bracelet back. It's a good match.
It was. I guess strap matches are always good because they're so brutal. I was surprised that Punk won the way he did, but I think I liked it. The fact that it wasn't a fluke, he actually won. There's like no question about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that does for McIntyre though, and I don't know how they get to the 3rd match.
Right, he got his bracelet back.
Seemingly, so this is over, except for the fact that they're now tied 1-1.
Right. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens.
Now, Punk did tease on the post show that he was going to be watching the heavyweight championship match. So,
okay,
there's that too. Maybe that's what they do. He's going to go for the title.
McIntyre's going to screw him.
Yeah, he's going to try to go for the title. McIntyre's going to be like, we ain't done yet. I've seen some people suggest like maybe McIntyre can do a kidnapping of Punk's
AJ
dog.
Lee. Larry?
Oh. Yeah. You kidnap Larry, not AJ Lee. That's illegal.
Kidnap AJ Lee and then send a snuff film.
Do things.
Send the snuff film to Pat McAfee. Play this. It's a VHS tape. Then it cuts to them after the tape and they're just wide-eyed and white. Or they could do something with Larry.
Either way, yeah.
Well, some German guy announced that this was the highest grossing arena show in WWE history.
And he said it in German.
He did.
So we have to take their word for it.
Then Ripley and Priest beat Dom and Liv. It was overbooked horseshit. Like all of the Judgment Day got involved. Ripley needs a new trick beyond the lip singing to her theme song. She did that on the way to the ring. She did that when she was like taunting Dominic and Liv. And that wide-eyed face that she makes bugs me too because she does that a lot.
Well, this was a fun match, I would say.
Oh my god.
I had fun with it. But we got the loud meter. It was loud for the moment that Rhea got her hands on Dom. Yeah, was it overbooked? Of course it was, but that's a Judgment Day match for you. I had fun with it, I guess.
Randy Orton versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. And Kaiser cutting off Samantha Irvine during the introduction was brilliant because I didn't see him come out. Did you?
Nope. He just
Okay.
appeared out of nowhere. He wasn't there for the entrance. He wasn't in the ring
Okay.
when Gunther got there. He just out of
appeared.
frame showed up. I guess he was under the ring.
So presumably he was standing there the whole time, possibly. So Samantha Irvine was confused as to why he would ask for the microphone. It's like, what else would you would expect?
Maybe he's just supporting his boy. I don't know.
Well, it starts off physical, but not overly violent. It's like they're feeling each other out. Like they're doing the collar and elbow tie up, but they're leveraging for position. They're being aggressive, but not like trying to tear each other's head off. It's very calculated. They both escape headlocks with head scissors. German crowd sings a song. The crowd chanted, "This is awesome," after Gunther applied an arm hold. Then the crowd did a wave.
Also, that "This is awesome" chant was like 5 minutes into the match.
Yes.
After, I don't know, 2-3 minutes of that was just standing around.
Said. The point is, it was a "This is awesome" chant for no fucking reason. It was not awesome at this point.
I really
they were
think
entertaining themselves is what they were fucking doing.
I think they were "This is awesoming" themselves because of their song, and those international crowds, they hijacked the show.
They tried so hard to be France.
Well, they weren't.
Orton fucking played along with the wave and laughed about it. So then they trade some more offense. Gunther got a huge reaction, of course, when he hit his first chop. Orton repeatedly threw Gunther into steel steps. Then he does his back-to-belly suplexes on the announce desk. Gunther tries a sleeper hold, but his arm's still fucked up from getting thrown into steel steps. I guess that's Gunther's big sell, is his arm. So they fight some more. Gunther's using his left arm now for chops. Orton hits a superplex. Trade some more offense. Orton blatantly pokes Gunther in the eyes in front of the referee. Referee just shrugged his shoulders. Like, hey. Orton hits an apron DDT, goes for his RKO. Gunther counters with a German suplex. Gunther hits his dropkick and a splash, then goes for a powerbomb. His arm's still fucked, so he can't get it. After multiple attempts, Gunther fights through the bad arm pain and delivers a powerbomb to Orton. Orton, of course, kicked out because fuck that. Gunther goes for another powerbomb. Orton, of course, hits the RKO out of nowhere. Gunther kicks out. Orton belly-to-back suplexes Gunther on the steel steps. Then he gets the other half of the steps so he can belly-to-back suplex Gunther through the announce desk. Orton gets Gunther into the ring, goes for another RKO. Gunther blocks it, applies a sleeper hold. Orton does his damnedest of breaking the hold and almost hitting Gunther with another RKO. So he pulls the bad arm again, gets free, grabs Gunther's neck to do the RKO, but Gunther gets the sleeper hold again. Gunther does elbows to Orton's sternum and applies the sleeper hold again, and Orton eventually passes out. And still, World Heavyweight Champion, Gunther, with no fucking controversy. And weirdly enough, they shake hands after the match.
That was weird. But yes, no controversy. He didn't pin him, he choked him out.
Of course, the match of the evening.
It had the old school flair. As you saw, there was no flips and dives. I always like to point that out. It was a story having a hurt hand.
I like this match because Gunther took a beating a lot better. I felt like with Priest, he just got his ass kicked. But with Orton, he got his ass kicked, but it was different. He didn't look as pathetic.
Right, yeah. It was just like a prototype match, if you will.
And Gunther's 2-0 against Orton, so I don't think we're going to see a return match. We need to look ahead to Gunther's next opponent, which may or may not be CM Punk. That would be interesting.
CM Punk teased it. I think McIntyre will stop it from happening. If he does, who is next?
I hope he just stops him from winning so we get to see the match.
It would be a hell of a match. And that's why I liked CM Punk actually beating McIntyre, not fluke way, but actually winning, looking dominant, because now he looks like a legitimate contender.
Yeah. Well, he kind of did.
Strong, if you will.
He did in their first match, too.
Yeah.
I'd say in the Royal Rumble when McIntyre just had his way with Punk. That was probably the worst he ever looked. Although Punk was hurt, so I guess that's why that happened. But, yeah. But that was Bash in Berlin.
Pretty good show. These international shows we can see are just what the crowd's gonna do. It's not so much about the wrestling; it's just about the crowd reactions and let's get the live meter going and all that.
And I knew it was a bad idea when he gave France that attention. All the other crowds are going to try to mimic it, and it's just going to be annoying as opposed to magical.
I don't know if they're trying to mimic it.
That's exactly
Like
what they're doing. Everybody was talking about fucking France and how awesome the crowd was and how they made the show and blah, 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 blah. And ever since then, they've been trying to recreate that. And it's not going to happen.
I think it's just because they haven't had.
They sang and did a wave. They sang twice. Germany, especially. They specifically
They
sang.
didn't sing the France song. Now
Because they're not French.
They did do the Cody Rhodes.
No, they sang. They did the wave. They were trying to be the fucking stars of the show.
I don't know. I think well, yeah, they were, but I think it was just them trying to be like, because soccer is so big over there. I think it was just like a soccer crowd.
I don't know.